Hi Anthony, so I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what we saw. I talked a lot in detail while you were here. So just went all over 3 strips. Here's your freestyle. We talked about just good momentum building on your entry, driving the hands in and forward. I think you can get a little more extension forward though in your stroke. And also head position changing quite a bit. It's a little bit high there, starts out low, it's low there, it's a little higher. So really want to work on keeping your head in line with your spine and keeping good body balance. Underwater, from both sides. And again, you see your hands enter, with good assertiveness. But I think just a little short. They're rotating forward nicely. You try and jump into your catch real quickly. I don't like this bend here in your wrist. I think you're losing some leverage on the water with that little bend. So you want to try and get rid of that. And then, again, I like this initial roll. So this is your right arm entering. I like that roll down in your hand. You just kind of push the elbow forward much more so you can really get a lot out of that blade. But again, here watching the left arm enter, good extension forward. Again, the fingers trying to roll into it, but a little too much bend, pulling kind of outside your body and then back in. You don't want that much changing direction in your hand. You want to just grab some water and use your body to rotate around the hand. And we see a little bit of changing in the head position. Not too bad there though. And then this is above from the side. And I think what I noticed, I don't know if I told you, this stroke is a little bit short in the back. With the length that you have, I think you can get a little bit more out of the back end of your stroke. So we'll work on making sure you're finishing well. Just you're starting to pull the elbow out right here. I think you can get a little bit more extension with the palm of your hand to the hip. The recovery is nice and relaxed over the top. A little floppy going in. See how the hand and the elbow are entering at the same time. A little bit of a crossover there. Same thing in terms of entry here. Just a little bit of a dropping of that on, and we want to drive in a little more assertively over the top in terms of keeping the elbow high, getting the fingertips in first, and then rotating, and then rolling it in and forward in one motion. I also think we can do a good amount of work on your kick. Keeping kind of feet down. We want to kick a little bit more from the hips, get a little bit more out of your hamstrings and your quads. Here's your breaststroke. I love how you throw forward using your whole body. Your shoulders are pushing your elbows, which are pushing your fingertips forward. I don't love how much you throw your head. I think you're trying to use your head to keep your hips up, and we can keep your head a little more connected with your core and still create the same kind of throw weight. I just don't like this little tuck right there, looking at the above. Okay, but I do like how fast your hands are, and the extension you get through your shoulder is awesome. I have another clip where you're a little more patient. I just think you're spinning here. Your feet aren't even finished. You can kind of look at the mirror. So your hands are in streamline, and then you're already starting your next stroke, and look where your feet are. So by the time your feet finish, your hands have already gone through about 3/4 of your pull. And that's just not a very efficient stroke in terms of length. And then we talked about turning the blades in better to get a little bit more out of the pull. Yeah, so I think this is a great view when you look at that underwater, where your hands are versus what your feet are doing. Alright, but we already made a little adjustment to that. And then this is you from the side. Again, you can really see here how you're accelerating forward with your shoulders. I absolutely love that. So the shoulders are pushing forward. I always look for this opening between the rib cage and the bicep. Okay, so that they're not sitting, you don't want them touching each other at this point, and yours are not. You're extending forward, putting your head down, throwing your head a little too much down, but getting your head down is important. I do think your kick is a little bit light. You get these heels up, but not up as high as I'd like, and you don't take the time to turn your feet out very well. So I'm going to work on that quite a bit. And again, we'll see in a second that the line you hold right here is not that exciting. And then we looked at your breaststroke kick from behind. This is just one cycle of kick. It was so bubbly, I tried to get the best one. And you can just see that as your heels come up, you just don't take the time at the top to turn them out. So here they're at the highest point, and you're already kicking back before you turn the feet out. So you have to take the time to turn the feet out. So here they are at their highest point. I know it's really hard to see, but so this is your knee, here's your ankle and your heel, and your feet are right here right now. Okay, that's what it looks like right now. And what I want you to look like is knee, heel, boom, turn the foot way out, okay? So that way you're just going to be holding more water as you kick. So there the feet are turning out, but they're only like halfway there. Now they're at their widest point. The feet are turned out to their widest point, and you're a good halfway through the kick, okay? I do like that your knees don't open too wide. You kick around your knees, that's great. You really want to make sure you finish and sling those ankles together. So here's the clip that I really like. Video number 1 is when you're thinking about a little more length in between each cycle. Video number 2 is the one we already saw. It was your initial one. So let's go through it here. So this in video number 1 is a beautiful line. You're connected head to toe. We talked already about this, but here's your spine, right? And everything's on line with it. It's really, really good. And if you look at video number 2, you never really get in that position. Because already you're wanting to start your next cycle. So your line is right here, and your legs are much lower, but you haven't finished your kick yet. And these two are synced. So what I like is how quickly your head gets into line. I know you're throwing it, and you might be able to try and put it down a little less like disconnection from your shoulders, but I love that you're in your line already. And then watch how in video number 1 you haven't moved anything. So your feet are still finishing, you haven't moved your arms. In video number 2, you're moving your arms now. So I can't even put you together a lot. I can't sync them, because you never get there. So video number 1 is just phenomenal. You get your kick down, holy smokes. It's really good. You're really tight through the core. So it's a much more efficient stroke. Really, really like that. Okay, and then here's your backstroke. I like the acceleration you have, getting your hands into the water. It's nice and assertive. I think your hands generally go a pretty good depth. Every once in a while you get a little shallow, which is where you see all those bubbles coming in. You're carrying a lot of air into the water every once in a while in some of those cycles. I do want to see you rotate your rib cage and your armpit into the water a little bit sooner, but you have in general a pretty nice rotation seen from the core. I think it can be connected a little bit better with your hands, your paddles. Your pulling pattern, you tend to drop water a little bit too soon, in my opinion. You want to keep that hold on the water a little bit longer towards your feet. And your catch is solid, but I think we can set up an even better catch to get the elbow pushing up a little bit higher, like this one in your left arm, a little weak. Yeah, so we'll just work on setting up a better catch. And then we can see from below here, it's just a little inconsistent in terms of catch. So there's 3 cycles, 3 strokes with your left arm in this clip here. On the first one, the catch is actually pretty solid. You get it a little late. You're not getting your hand into a catch position until right about here. I don't like how those fingertips are curled in, so you don't put pressure on the water with your hands as well as you could. And then you can see the fingers are pointing upwards. We got one pointing up to the surface of the water there. You're grabbing air, pulling it back into the pool. This is your vest cycle. Still a little late getting your catch, but the hand stays deeper and your palm is facing the bottom of the pool longer, so that was your best one. This is your worst one. A little more shallow, and you're pulling a lot of air in, and then you're sweeping up really quick and then dropping the stroke. Okay, so you've got to get some consistency so that your underwater pulling pattern looks more like number 2 always. All right, so those are your 3 strokes we looked at. Hopefully we'll get together regularly starting pretty soon here. Hope you enjoyed it, and good luck with the rest of your semester of school and with your swimming. Bye, Anthony.